Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star-Telegram, Inle Angle podcast here on the Sunset Lounge where everything is free. Everything, including the stuff that we charge for. Inle Angle podcast. We are at the Frisco RoughRiders. It is Bluey Night. Bluey Night. Not Red Night. Bluey Night. Here for the Frisco RoughRiders game. First pitch is 7:05, and I am joined by my very good friend. You ready? Let's see if I can do this.
Okay.
He's from Maximo, with Mr. Carlos Nava. Carlos not here. This is Victor Villalba.
It was close.
Yeah.
It was close. Hey, listen,
Villalba.
great to be here. Thank you, Ashley Bullington. Thank you also, Mac Engel, for the invitation. And, man, I'll tell you, I'm ready to rock and roll, to talk about whatever Mac Engel wants to talk about. I'm here. I'm ready. Call me a trampoline. You know what a trampoline is?
I do. I've jumped
It's
on
a
them.
bouncy.
Yes, thank you very much.
Exactly. That's right.
All right. Thank you very much for being here.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited about this because this is my first time doing this.
Okay.
And we're going to see if this bus can stay on the highway or it's going to go right into a ditch. By the way, before I say anything else, I do want to file a formal complaint with the city of Dallas, Frisco, Fort Worth, HEB, and every place else. Enough with the population growth.
Yes.
Oh, well.
Could not agree more.
I am sick of it. I'm tired of it. I don't know who I can complain to.
Totally.
There's got to be somebody. There's too many people here. We need to start making hard cuts.
Well, wouldn't you think
it is Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Victor, this drive for me took an hour and 20 minutes.
Totally.
And I don't know. I know we want growth. Growth is great.
No.
You know what I mean? And for her to say that, I would not necessarily say Miss Bullington would fit the prototype of the Democrat. For her to speak out against this population growth says a lot and speaks to a greater problem that we have, which is this traffic is the worst.
It's crazy. It could be worse. Atlanta is worse. Houston is worse,
Yes.
I'd say.
Is Houston worse?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about
Austin
it.
worse?
Yes.
Austin can be really bad.
The only one to me that's worse.
And that's because of growth. Now, do we owe this a lot to the California situation that everyone's migrating?
I think that's a bunch of crap.
Okay.
I was in California
Thanks
a couple
for-
months
thanks
ago.
for clarifying.
Yeah, well, I've got the numbers someplace. They're in the
Okay,
car.
cool.
But I was in
What do they do in the car? You need to hear.
Well, I was in a hurry. I had to talk my way into the parking lot. I can't even count to you, and I'm sure you're the same way, how many parking lots I have had to talk my way into. Well, you don't have a thing. Well, I'm blah, blah, blah. Well, your name's not on the list. No, it's okay. And then you just sort of sit there and awkwardly and then wait to kind of talk your way in.
This is right now?
This was 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. No, I just drove up and smiled at her, winked, and then she let me in.
I did not get that
He's got
treatment.
all the charm.
I'm
Well,
telling
you know,
they're
hey.
like, we're not going to let in some middle-aged white dude. I'm like, you're a dime a dozen. So I was in California a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah,
I was in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
And so we had gone from L.A. to Palm Springs.
Nice.
I've never been to Palm Springs.
Nice.
And it's desert. It's Vegas, Scottsdale.
But it's dry, and it helps your
Yeah,
sinuses.
clean. It just breathes better.
Yeah.
A lot of old people. I'm telling you, it was The Walking Dead. They were old people. And I had heard this, and then I saw it. It is a thriving gay community out there.
Okay.
Thriving.
Did you see Ralph Strangis while you were there?
Wow.
Ralph lives there?
Yes.
He did.
Oh.
That's
Is
where
he-
he,
no,
no,
is he
that's
still
where he
living there?
lives now.
Oh, I thought he had moved back.
No, he comes back a lot.
Yeah.
And he lives out there.
I had heard at one point, Ralph, saludos, Ralph, that
Former play-by-play voice of the Dallas Stars,
the
by
Dallas
the way.
Stars, great guy. I know him personally, great guy. But I did read one time he was doing this column, and he was living in Venice, and he was living in a house on the beach in Venice.
In Venice.
Have you been to Venice?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and-
very eclectic. It's very esoteric, if you will.
Well, what I'm dying to know is actually why, after I said thriving gay community, you chose to drop in. Oh, by the way, Ralph Strangis lives there.
Oh, yeah, well.
well, not because of that. It was more just because you said that you were out there.
Okay, I didn't know that. I feel bad now. If I'd
You
known
should feel
that,
bad.
I should have called him. Anyways,
He would have taken you to go see the Joshua Tree, or
that's where we went. We did see
he
the
would
Joshua
take
Tree.
you to go smoke.
All right, I hadn't thought about that. So we go to Los Angeles, and I've been to Los Angeles like you a bunch of times, and I love it.
Oh, you're a big Los Angeles guy?
I like Los Angeles.
Did you ever live in Los Angeles?
No, but it could,
I
no.
did for 4 years.
What did you think?
I got the hell out of there.
Okay, well
Totally.
it's
Oh, man, are you kidding me?
well because and it's not fair when you said, "Do you like it?" Yeah, I do like it, but I'm going out there usually as a tourist.
Correct. When you
or
go
on
visit,
somebody else. Yeah, I'm just
when you go
visiting.
visit, it's another deal. But
It
when
is.
you live there and you have to drive somewhere, forget about it.
Okay, so of all the places we sit here and moan and bemoan about traffic, to me that's still the gold standard of god awful. Los Angeles.
It's bad.
There's nothing as bad except for maybe Atlanta.
I lived up in Porter Ranch, which is in Northridge, and I was working at the time. I was the VP of public relations for a Hispanic marketing firm, and I worked in Century City, so I had to drive from Northridge down the freeway to get. It was terrible.
How long?
I did that for 4 years.
How long was your commute time to work?
Oh, when I would go like on the weekend for whatever reason, it would take me 20 minutes to get there.
Okay.
But on a traffic day in the morning, whatever, it would take an hour 20, an hour 30.
God awful.
It was terrible.
God awful. Before I come up with our first big topic of the day, which you're going to crush,
Oh, boy.
I need you to make sure that you mention good friends here of all the shows here on Stolen Water, but make sure, because I don't have this memorized the way you do. Can you crush this for me?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Of course, Inle Angle is brought to you by House of Healing. Did I say right? Inle Angle, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. It's brought to you by House of Healing.
Well, all of
now,
them,
remember,
correct?
House of Healing is a place where you can go and relieve a lot of these anxieties and different situations that you might be living through. Maybe you're not sleeping well. Maybe your knee hurts, whatever. And you can go there, and they're going to sit you down, and they're going to explain everything to you the way you deserve. So remember, House of Healing, CBDDallas.com. That's CBD Dallas. Visit them. They're waiting for your visit. Remember that.
Wow.
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 That's a radio
Holy
professional.
moly.
That's an on-air
That's
talent.
called a live read,
That's
baby.
very good. I couldn't do it. I hope. Do me a favor. When we cut this up, or you cut this up, send me that part, and
So
just
you can
all
run it
use
on your show
Yes.
every week?
Okay, we'll transcribe it for you.
I don't need. I just need the actual audio, the
okay.
video audio clip. I don't know if you knew this or not.
Sure.
I know you do. Next Sunday is a big day.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday is Father's Day.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's right.
You didn't even know.
No.
So next Sunday is Father's Day, and it's a special time for me. I'm a dad. We have a daughter, 16 years old, and I think about this.
What is your daughter's name?
Vivian.
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 Oh, it's a beautiful name.
Thank you very much. So Vivian,
Babysit Vivian back in the day.
she did babysit Vivian back in the day. She's very good at it. And so I thought about this a lot. I was like, what do you want? You and I, I'm at the age, you're at the age where you don't really want anything. In fact, what you really want is for someone to come and take half your crap and just get rid of it.
Yes.
Look at the eye.
Oh,
Look at the way your eyes just lit up. Like,
the worst thing is when you open a drawer and you're like, oh, there's a bunch of crap in there. What is this? I don't know. And what do? Bloop, you close it and move on.
It's like it never existed.
Totally.
It is. It's some scene out of Poltergeist without the ghost. So, Victor, now that you've got two daughters who are older, you have grandchildren, what do you really want on Father's Day?
Nothing. I'm going to tell you. Okay, let me just preface all this with the fact that I've never been a gift guy. I don't like giving them. I don't like getting them. Period. So, like my family, my girls, and my late wife as well. She knew that I wasn't going to get her anything. In fact, for Christmas, I had to ask Olga, I had to ask her, okay, sweetie, what did I get you for Christmas? In case anyone asked me. In case the guys ask me, hey, so what'd you get your wife for Christmas? Oh, I got her these earrings. She really likes them. They're really nice.
Beautiful.
So there
Amazing.
you go.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So you've been a dad for almost 40 years.
Yes.
Can you think of a special Father's Day memory that you have?
Father's Day memory. Nothing really comes to mind because I'm not a celebratory date guy. Like my birthday, it's like it was yesterday and I didn't tell anybody.
Happy
so
birthday.
To speak. No, so to speak.
Okay.
Like nobody knows.
Well, but hey, real quick, by me just saying that, I've covered it.
Yes.
So whenever it is.
Whenever.
Mac wished me a happy birthday. He's 5 months too late, but he did. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I've never really been a birthday guy. Christmas and New Year's. We are in the business that, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, we're working. We're somewhere, So, I've always been able to kind of scoot around all these different festivities and stuff like that. Like Thanksgiving, are you kidding me? When was the last time I actually sat down and celebrated Thanksgiving? Over, I don't know, it's been
20-some years?
Almost 30 years. Because I'm at the stadium. And
right.
And the thing is, after you show up and the party's a little over, but now I just go home, It's
Didn't care. Well, see, is that like a guy thing? Because you hit the nail on the head for me. It's more like, I don't want anything.
Yeah.
And
but now, do you give gifts? Do you like giving gifts? Do you get that pleasure of finding something and saying, hey, here you go? And
sometimes.
Okay.
What I don't like now that I'm older, and when our daughter was really little, Yeah, I have some very special memories of her opening a gift or two where her, and you can, anybody who has kids can remember this, where Christmas morning was just magic.
Sure.
And I do have vivid recollections of her getting a doll that she didn't think she was going to get.
Oh, yeah.
Now, 2 days later, it didn't matter, right? Or a couple other things like that. But, yeah, there are a few. But the problem is, like, and I don't know how you were raised or, some of it is like we have just flooded, and I'm lucky, flooded sometimes our kids with all this crap where they can't really distinguish what's really special and then just noise, so we can compete with a bunch of people that we really don't care about anyways. No disrespect to any of them. So when it comes to this stuff, if it's like a special thing, I'm sure you're like me or like most people. I'd rather, the experience is something that I would cherish more than a shirt or hat. But I know it's a different stage of life. When I think about like special holidays and things, well, which ones do you really remember? Hell, I don't remember most of them. No. But the ones that you remember are the ones where something went astray.
Oh, okay.
Right? You think about the weddings.
Went off the rails?
Yeah, something just kind of weird happened. Like you think about the weddings you've attended, you probably don't remember the ones where everything went right. You remember the one where something happened, right? Yeah. And those are the ones that stick out. So I think about the Father's Day that I remember was 6 years ago. Our air conditioner broke.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Because we hid out of the house the entire day.
Of course.
I'm like, what do you want to do for Father's Day? Not be in this house.
Not be here.
Right? And what I've decided, what I really want, like if somebody gave you just an infinite amount of money, Victor.
Carte blanche.
You got to spend it on you. Can't give it to your daughters. Can't give it to your grandkids. Can't give it to me.
Can't save it.
Can't save it. Got to spend it on you. Okay. What would you do? What would you spend it on?
Wow. That's, honestly, because we're being honest here, right?
Yeah. Well, most of the shows we lie, but on this one we're not.
Yeah, it's the test here. Well, I tell you, I drive a Jeep. And it's got no bells and whistles whatsoever. I love it like that. It's got none of whatever.
Yeah.
And then
does it have a turnkey?
Yes, it does.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And then my wardrobe is like, hey,
that's pretty nice. You really knocked it out of the park today.
Hey, there was a moment when I come from a corporate background, and I accumulated some suits and this and that, and all of a sudden I had like 12, 13, 14 suits. I don't know what. But then all of a sudden I just gave them all away. I didn't want to.
Did you really?
Yes, all of them. Yeah, and I said, that's it. I don't want these clothes anymore. So, and now, I tell you, I can't really think about something that I would use money to get because I really want to get it.
I think for me, I could talk about the clothes thing. I've really had a hard time with the necktie.
Oh,
like the functionality of the necktie.
Yeah.
I am like, no, this is punishment. This is women punishing
but there was a moment when I was in the corporate world, if you will, and a tie would make the shirt and the collar, and it had to be
all tight,
immaculate,
pretty.
Yeah, and then the knot had to be the half Windsor knot. You know how that works?
Oh, yeah.
And where people come up and they try to straighten, it's like, no, don't straighten my tie. It's supposed to be like that, crooked. It's a half Windsor, for Christ's sakes. So anyway,
can you still do them?
No, I don't wear ties anymore. Okay. I'm like you. Like what you just said right now, I am right there.
I think the only thing that if somebody said, here's X amount of dollars, I know I'm going to be like, I want to go see the world.
Okay.
I want to go to Antarctica, and I want to do the polar plunge thing. I want to go to Machu Picchu.
Whoa. What's the polar plunge
I had a friend of mine who did this. Apparently you can take...
Antarctica?
In Antarctica, yeah. Woo. You go to... Patagonia or something?
Yeah, Patagonia.
Is it?
Yeah, Patagonia is not a country; it's a region.
Oh, okay.
Where Chile and Argentina are part of it.
So you take a boat out of there, and you go south to Antarctica. And part of the trip is that you can kayak and do some other stuff, but one of them is they attach a line to your waist at the back of the boat, and then you jump into frigid waters. And I think you stay in it for 60 seconds, something ungodly. I've done cold jumps in water, nothing like that.
Like polar bearish?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, that's the whole idea. You jump in and they give you however many seconds where it's safe.
Hell, I can't even take a cold shower, much less jump in cold water.
So that it's stuff like that. Like those people who climbed the top of Everest, I'm like, no way.
Have you seen what's going on over there now?
Yeah, the lines.
Yes, it's like a Ferris wheel.
It is,
and then there's a bunch of cadavers there on the way up. Have you heard about that?
I don't know about cadavers. I've heard about trash.
No, cadavers.
No, I have not heard that.
They don't have the manpower or whatever, and this is something I read, to get these bodies off.
I totally believe it.
Yeah, no, it's
awful.
It's
so I'm
like
not
they
going
say in Spanish, verídico.
What he said.
Verídico.
But on Father's Day, I thought about that. I'm like, what would I really want to do? And it's more like, I guess on this Father's Day, my dad's 92. And on this Father's Day, I would love to be able to go spend it with him.
Good.
I talked to him today, and as you get older, those are the things that you really appreciate.
Totally.
It's just about hanging out with
What's your father's name?
Ted.
Ted Engel.
Ted Engel. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's things like that. But I think the big challenge is not disappointing, your child. Like, what do you want, Dad? Oh God, nothing. Because they want to do something for you, and you don't want to be that guy. And I've totally turned into that one. I was like, no, don't give me anything. And so I fight the idea of pleasing them, which is here, I'm going to accommodate your desire to give me something, versus my other desire, which is I don't want a damn thing because I don't want to take care of it. Yeah. Speaking of taking care of things, I want to give a shout out to the Frisco RoughRiders, where we are here tonight. First pitch, 7 o'clock, 7:05. It is Bluey Night. Do not ask me what Bluey Night means.
Oh, I can tell you.
Bluey's hanging out behind us.
Yeah, Bluey. Come on, Bluey. Are you kidding me?
Really?
Yeah, she's right back there.
Bluey is my grandson Zeke's favorite.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah, totally. And then my other grandson, who's 10, I mean, their tastes change, but he's a big, what did I say, green, what did I say earlier? Green, no.
Monkeys, lanterns, acres.
Green, is it the dog one?
Big City Green.
Big City Green, yes.
Thank you. That's another one of those cartoons.
I am totally out of that phase, and I have no idea what any of it is.
I would be out too.
We're going to do a quick update here. It is almost 6 o'clock on Saturday, and we're going to do this is live. So I'm going to give this score, and the Texas Rangers played the Washington Nationals today. Do you know the score? It's a day game in Washington.
They lost yesterday 2-0.
They did. Today, the score was 5-0. Who would you guess scored the 5 runs?
Well, the way the Rangers are going right now, I would have to say the Nationals. No.
Unbelievably, the Texas Rangers exploded.
I think they did.
Right? For a season high, I'm kidding, 5 runs.
Who was pitching? Who started?
Jacob deGrom.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Jacob deGrom goes 7 innings, allows 2 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts on 81 pitches. Okay, that improves your 2023 Texas Rangers.
4th place, right?
Damn right. Moving up, 30-35. They are on pace for their 8th losing season in the last 9 years.
And they're like 2 years removed from a World Series.
2023.
So the only year they didn't have a losing season was the year they won the World Series?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, how about when they went to those 2 World Series before?
No, the last 9 years.
Last 9 years.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. They're not even at the halfway point. And as you know, Victor, baseball's regular season is approximately 18 months long, give or take.
It's crazy.
It is very long. They're not even at the halfway point. They have pretty much the worst offense in baseball.
They can't hit. Everybody's gone.
It's incredible. And they've got good hitters. Corey Seager, Wyatt Langford, Josh Young. Adolis Garcia, who I think if they could cut today, they would.
What happened to him?
Lightning in a bottle. You got to remember when Adolis was coming up, he was kind of a flash in the pan, and the Cardinals gave up on him. And then he comes to Texas on a flyer.
When he went from Cuba to Mexico and then came up here.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Rangers took a flyer on him, and you know how it goes, Victor. Sometimes these guys just find God like that. And it lasts for however long, and he caught fire during a very important time in the history of that team's in the history of that franchise. Is a big reason they won the World Series, and now he's kind of maybe regressed to the mean a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think if they could, they would unload him, but they can't because he's not hitting. But neither is anybody else. Yeah. This team has spent a ton of money to win. They didn't they've got a manager, a Hall of Fame manager, who's in the final year of his contract.
And he might all of a sudden say, I don't need this anymore.
Well, I would think I can't see him quitting.
No, I don't see him quitting, but
I don't see him coming back.
Yeah.
No way. I don't see him coming back. The question I have for you is that at what point the trade deadline is not until the end of July.
Okay.
That's usually a sign when the teams will say, we're in this and we think we're going to be pretty good and we got a shot at this.
So let's go get so-and-so.
Let's do something proactive. At what point, like what does this team's record need to be? Just give me not an exact number, but an above 500 or a below 500 estimation that you would say, Victor, okay, there's something there, go for it. Or conversely, you would say, that's it. Start dumping guys. You got to start looking ahead.
Mac, I would go to the essence of sports, which is in basketball, in baseball particularly, that are long seasons. You have to have a streak. You have to go 5, 6, 7, 10 games in a row winning. You have to get that streak going to where you get confidence so that then you lose 1, you lose 2 in a row, but then you don't go into 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row because that kills you. Now, if the Rangers can get on a roll to where you're saying, okay, they're playing this team, it's not like they already lost before they threw the first pitch, because somehow that begins to become a malignant of, if that's a proper word, but it becomes a problem for teams that are trying to find their identity. What is the Rangers' identity?
I don't know.
From a hitting standpoint,
they don't have one.
They don't have one.
And that's the killer. They're the only team in baseball. I can't believe we're saying this about the Texas Rangers. Ever. The Rangers have the third best ERA in baseball. The third best. And they've spent money on pitching, and some of these guys are really clicking. DeGrom went today and did great. There's other guys too. Molly has done really well. The Rangers, their identity since they moved here from Washington, D.C. has been anything but pitching. And now you've got a staff, team ERA, that's the third best in major leagues. I know everybody in baseball can analytic me to death. But if your ERA,
they will.
Yeah, they will. But if your ERA is that good, and they're the third best, you should be pretty good. They are the only team in the top 10 in Major League Baseball with an ERA in the top 10 that has a losing record. That's how bad their offense sucks.
Yeah. Well, if you look at their ERA being high as they are, if you look at their batting average, I'm sure they're one of the worst.
Garbage. Oh, it's garbage.
Are they the worst?
The only reason they're not the worst, and again, this is another one, and you know how basketball has changed.
Right, because it's the Marlins that exist.
No, it's the Rockies and
the
White Sox.
Oh, my God.
And the Rockies right now are on a pace to do something we've never seen before in terms of losing seasons. We've never seen what they've done.
Well, not only that, but, the White Sox broke a 100-year curse last year, like a 100-year thing last year, and now the Rockies are going to beat it.
Yeah, in terms of a bad record. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the only reason the Rangers aren't 30th out of 30 is because you have two historically horrendous teams keeping you at 28, right? So that, I think you make a good point about it. At some point, you've got 2 months, and you've got to go on a run.
You have to.
You have to go on a run that says, okay, this is what we can do. Because right now, all they've done is pitch really well and not hit. And it is mind-boggling to me that a guy, and I know Corey Seager has dealt with some injuries. Certainly Josh Young has had some injury bugs before. But I look at this lineup, and I'm like, how is it? Like, this is incredible that it's this bad. Yeah. But baseball's forever. I would say you've got to be at least 500 or better. If you're anything below 500, then you got to start looking to move guys.
The key that I heard a long time ago is that your baseball record on the road has to be 500, and it has to be a winning record at home. And if you do that, if you accomplish that, you're going to go places.
Well, Chris Young done a terrific job as the general manager of the Rangers. Last year, made a mistake. He trusted that team. He trusted that team because the year before, they put it together and were the best team in baseball by the end. They won that. However fluky it wasn't a fluke. They won. Mm-hmm. They kicked everybody's butt. they were the best team in baseball. But when they followed it up with a performance that they just weren't the same team, and that it happens all the time. So if I think I'm Chris Young, and I think he learned from that mistake, which is if this is what they are, don't base what I need to do on what they did, but what they are today. And I think that will dramatically alter his aggressiveness or lack thereof in trying to make this team better. Because right now, they're one of the biggest disappointments in baseball. You can't go from winning the World Series to a losing season last season, and now you're doing it again.
But then also the key here, and when you said it, they don't have an offensive identity. And if you don't have an identity, you know what? You're walking up, and you're just going to get punched out. That's basically it. Punched out, boom, boom, boom.
No, that's really interesting you should say that, because I was thinking about this, when I was driving up here in my 58-hour drive up here. You've been doing this, Cowboys and Mavericks, for 20-plus years?
20-plus years. I did some Ranger games, too, for a little while.
Okay. So I don't think I didn't get it. I haven't talked to you about this since it happened. The Dallas Mavericks trade Luka Dončić.
Oh, God. We're going back there.
Well, no, the reason why I am is because there's obviously we know the reaction locally, right?
Yeah.
Picketing, riots, all this other stuff, criticism like we've never seen before, pain like we've never seen before. I have no comp for it, but I am dying to know.
I have no cop for it?
Comparable.
Comparable. Okay.
Comparison.
Sorry.
It's all right. So I am dying to know in the Latin community, of which you obviously service as the Spanish language play-by-play guy for these teams, especially the Mavericks.
Sure.
Was that community as outraged and as pissed off as the rest of us were?
Look, I'll put it to you this way, just to kind of. Recently, I went to a elementary school in Garland, Doherty Elementary School, and the Mavericks sent me there. So I'm there representing the Mavericks. Very, very, very Hispanic school. A lot of Hispanic kids. Basically the majority. And I spoke to several different classes. And when I opened it up, because I told them, hey, I'm here, and then I always preface and tell them, okay, at the end I'm going to give a chance for questions. So get your questions ready, because that's really what it's all about. It's about
what age range are we talking?
We're talking fourth grade.
Fourth grade. Okay.
Yeah. And these kids are like, they're listening, and they're like, because you go up there and you're energetic, you have a way of speaking, and
right.
You keep their attention. Okay, when I open for questions, what do you think the first question was in each one of the classes?
Why did they trade Luka Dončić?
Amen. That's exactly what it was. What happened with Luka? Why did they trade Luka? And you got to do a little bit of a dance there, because hey, you work for the Mavericks. You certainly aren't going to say something that's going to jeopardize you. Not even because you believe it or you don't. You just kind of have to stay very neutral. But my answer to the kids, okay, these are kids.
Right.
You can't lie to kids.
No, because they'll know it.
They'll know. Kids know when you're lying. They do. They're very intuitive. They're just like little sponges. And what my answer to them was, the team made a decision based on what they felt was in their best interest moving forward.
So, Ashley, am I allowed to cuss on this?
Yes. Just don't.
How many kids, when you
crazy.
I won't. How many kids, when you said this is what the team did, blah blah blah? How many of those fourth graders raised their hand and said, "Mr. Villalba, that's bullshit"?
Yeah, no, none of them did. None of them did.
Not even in Spanish?
No, okay. No. But see, I do run into people, and they come up to me and they go, "Oye, ¿qué onda con esos Mavericks? ¿Por qué cambiaron a Luka?" Digo, ¿por qué? A ver, explícamelo. Like that.
Okay.
It's not like,
even I understood
hey, Victor,
that.
How you doing? Hey, listen, I'm sorry to bother you. No. Explícamelo. And you have to look them in the eye and say, I work for the Mavericks, and I really, truly believe that they felt that they made a decision in their best interest.
And that was the one part of this. I have a couple friends of mine who work for the team. I felt really bad for them, and by an extension, because you're in a hard spot.
Yeah.
You're in a position trying to explain things to a bunch of people who are angry.
And you know what?
You had nothing to do with
nothing.
it.
But when it really went.
Which point?
Was when Anthony Davis comes out against Houston, and he's like, bah, bah,
killing
bah.
it.
And then he's going, I'm here, and everybody's going berserk, bananas, and everything. And all of a sudden, he goes up and and he walks off the court, and you're like, this can't be happening. This cannot be happening. Oh, que la fregada,
So, yeah, that's a good one, because you're bilingual, obviously. What sounds angrier? The angry soccer fan
Okay.
who yells in
español?
En español,
Yeah.
or the angry football fan in the United States who speaks English?
I believe that
Because the reason I say it is like,
Yep.
man, that was phenomenal. That's so animated. It's so great. It sounds like something could be on like an action movie. Whereas the guy, the drunk, angry Cowboys fan, I'm like, I've heard that 1,000 times.
Totally.
Like, you're you're awful, fire Jerry. I'm like, there's nothing compelling to that. But the way you said all that, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'll watch that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been doing Spanish forever, and one of the things that I really like, because I've worked in English too. There were a couple times that Mark Followa wasn't available, so Chuck moved into.
That's right.
Yeah, and then
That's
I was working with the great Brad Davis. I mean, do you know Brad Davis?
Absolutely.
Oh, God,
Fort Worth resident. They've retired. You know what?
He
The
lives in
Mavericks-
Waxahachie now.
Is that where he moved
Oh,
to
yeah,
Waxahachie?
yeah.
I always laugh when.
He lived in Arlington.
Didn't he ever live in Fort Worth?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I thought he did. Or
Yeah.
maybe his kids went to Country Day. Anyways, doesn't matter. The thing I always laugh about, I love about Brad Davis is that they retired his jersey. Like Brad Davis.
And it was the only one up there forever.
Like you got Ro Blackman and Derek Harper. Like, you know what? I think we're going to put Brad Davis up there.
Yeah.
So forever it was Brad and Dirk.
But that was Don Carter days.
Yeah, it was. That was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah, and you're not going to unretire it.
Of course not.
No, I mean, but it was like, it is kind of where you look up and you're like, huh, how about that?
But when you
Dirk's next to Brad Davis.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, yes, they're both up there. But wouldn't you say that Brad Davis was a solid player?
He was good. He was,
Yes.
he was a good NBA
Okay,
player.
good,
But
solid player.
Well, the standards have changed now, obviously.
Correct. But still, he's also a guy that wins people over. But naturally. Not because he's trying to, he's
just a good guy.
He's just a good dude.
And if you look at certain franchises, I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, yeah?
When I was growing up, the Colts were terrible. They were terrible. And they had nobody to retire. I mean,
what year was it?
So they moved to Indianapolis when I was in the 5th grade, so then 85.
That's the old RCA Dome.
Yes, that was the Hoosier Dome. When
The
it was
Hoosier
built.
Dome, yeah.
So they were terrible. And, when you're those
Mike Pagel?
franchises. Mike Pagel, very good. That was our first quarterback. So you're looking for anything. You're looking for things you want to celebrate. Even if the team's terrible, you're like, we got to celebrate something. And you've had some guys who were good stewards, good ambassadors, good pros, good players, good people.
Community guys.
Community people. And not it's a disservice almost to their talent if you just say, well, they're good community people.
Yeah.
Well, this guy was a good player.
Yeah.
And we didn't win very much, but this guy was good. And so when you go to certain franchises, you see, like, well, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Well, for a lot of people, for the Mavericks fans, when that franchise was born, Brad Davis meant a lot to a lot of people.
Sure.
So I always understood why they did that. And no, is he Dirk? No. Dirk's Dirk. But
hey, Dirk is.
That's a different strata.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yes. How you got dizzy there.
Yeah, no, that's just a different level of all of it.
What a great guy Dirk Nowitzki is, period.
The best.
I mean, I worked for the Mavericks and Dirk was there, but, I never really tried to, buddy up to them or anything like that because, I'm not there for sound. I'm not writing a column. So I'm just doing the play-by-play. So I kind of go about my business. But then Dirk one day kind of asked, who's that guy? And then after that, he would always say hello and, yell my name in lobbies of hotels. Really? Oh, yeah. He'd go, Victor Villalba, like that really loud. And I'd be like, yeah, that's me. All these people in the lobby. Yeah, that's me. How you doing? And then several times with Dirk, one time when he broke Oscar Robertson's record. Mm-hmm. I was back then on the charter. Things have changed. So I'm getting off the charter, and Dirk would get off the charter real slow because he would take one step at a time because of his knees and stuff. So we get to the bottom, and I sort of sidle up to him, and I said, wow, Dirk, Oscar Robertson. And I'd already gotten to talk to him a little bit by then, but just, keeping your distance. And he puts his arm around me, and we're walking. And I'll tell you, man, that felt like, wow, this is so cool. Yeah. This is Dirk. He's got his arm around me, and he's appreciating me telling him something. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
No, and I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of these guys, and sometimes, Victor, sometimes you don't want to meet them.
No, I agree.
Because they don't want to deal with you because you're media. And
they shake your hand like this. Look, put your hand up. They go.
Yes.
That happened with me with Terrell Owens once in training camp in Oxnard. I walked up to him because, see, when you're absolutely when you're in training camp, you try to find moments when a coach or a player is by themselves. and you walk up and say, hey, how you doing? I'm Victor. I do the Spanish, this and that, the other. And most of them are very receptive. I mean, I remember one time I talked to Bruce DeHaven, because the late Bruce DeHaven, what a great guy. Great guy.
He's a former, now late Dallas scout. He died a few years ago. He's a long, long time
great
NFL
guy.
special teams coach and one of the nicest men God ever made.
Fantastic guy.
Too nice for that league.
Yeah, and I read in his bio that he had adopted a couple of Colombian children.
He did.
So I walked up to his office and I knocked, sort of like, hello, and he says, yeah, come on in. And I said, hey, coach, I just want to tell you, I do the Spanish. My parents are Colombian, and we got to talking. And I mean, he did stuff for us. He was in the studio. He would do stuff, and he actually would come up and say hello to me on the field, which is, to me, is kind of like, are you talking to
You can't
me?
even believe it sometimes.
Oh, totally.
When they treat you like a human being.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, totally.
And Bruce was one of the, it's funny, I can say this now. We lost Bruce a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But my feelings about Wade Phillips, which have been pretty strident, came from Bruce.
From Bruce DeHaven.
Because when Wade was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, or pardon me, the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
That was the miracle.
Bingo. And
Music City Miracle.
Music City Miracle.
Yeah.
So the Titans playoff game where they do the home run throwback to Frank Wycheck, or he throws it to
And
Kevin
Frank
Dyson.
Wycheck also passed away.
Right, yeah. And that's, this is a downer. So I get to know Bruce, and, Bruce had been on Wade Phillips' staff.
At Buffalo, yes.
In Buffalo, and he was the special teams coordinator for that game.
Oh, yeah.
I've never shared this.
Fired the next day.
Yeah, I think it was the next
Or maybe
day.
on the way back.
It was quick.
Yeah.
So I asked Bruce to tell me the story. This is a famous NFL game.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, what happened? And he said,
Let me just ask you, just for context. Where were you and what was going on around when you asked him that? If you can remember.
No, I don't. I remember I was at Valley Ranch covering the team, and Bruce was interested in journalists. He liked writers. He really liked people who read. I remember that.
Yeah.
And he was such an interesting guy, and he led.
Fantastic.
I mean, like I said, he adopted those sons later in life, and he's just a decent man. So I think I had asked him about I was writing about, wacky plays or something, and I said, would you mind talking to me about that? And he said, no, I'll talk to you about it. So he gave me an answer or two, and he said, now this is what really happened.
This is what really happened?
Yes. So he tells me
the plot thickens.
Wade Phillips comes up to him before the kickoff. Remember, Rob Johnson had been the quarterback.
And he got knocked out.
And then the Bills come back and they score a last-second touchdown or field goal to take the lead. And the wild card game was going to pull off a big upset on the road at Tennessee.
Yes.
A good Tennessee team.
Steve McNair.
Yeah. And then Wade comes up to Bruce and said, do you think we should squib kick it?
Correct.
And he said, no, let's kick it in this direction. Everybody contains their lanes. We'll be fine. Bruce wasn't a squib kick guy, if I remember. Well, sure enough, they kick it to the right side, and it was a little, if you remember it wasn't totally in the air, but it was short.
Yes, it was.
And you remember that?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, sure enough, if you watch the right angle replay, they lost containment right away.
Well,
they collapsed.
The fullback, I can't remember his name. He was not a Hall of Famer, excuse me, a Pro Bowler.
Lorenzo Neal.
Yes, Lorenzo Neal.
Yep.
He gives it to Wycheck.
He did.
Wycheck turns around, throws it across the field. It looks like a forward pass. It really does.
Yep.
And then
Dyson's got a complete police escort all the way into
goes
the end
into the end zone. Everyone's going bananas.
If you remember when you look at that play, and it was an incredible play.
Incredible.
There's nobody on that side of the field.
Well,
all those Bills special teams guys had,
they suckered them into that.
They totally did.
Yeah.
And you fight human nature. Like, well, there's the ball. Go get the ball. And in football, a lot of times is stay
Keep your lane. Yes.
Keep your lane.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And so play goes to hell. Wade, everybody's upset. They don't get the call. It would be interesting.
The announcers were saying, hey, that's a forward pass. That's a forward pass. And it wasn't.
It
wasn't.
I mean,
where he throws it.
If that play happens in Buffalo, the play happened in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
If that play happens in Buffalo, I'm like,
yeah.
that's probably a forward pass. But doesn't matter. They lose. And
one of the historic moments of NFL football.
Oh, it's amazing. And
I was watching that live, by the way.
I vividly remember it. And I'm as a fan or somebody who's interested in the game, I'm asking Bruce about it, and he said, well, this is what happened. And this is kind of the fun thing when you get jobs like this. You can find out anecdotes about things that are really famous plays. I've got
From the right people.
From the right people.
Yes.
So and he says, one of the guys on his staff comes up to him and says, "Hey, you better be on." Tells Bruce, the game's over. Everybody's crushed. The season's over. It's humiliating. They've had it. It's gone. Blah blah blah. And somebody tells Coach DeHaven, a guy on his staff, just be on the lookout. Wade was talking to his dad about you. Ooh. So now they know immediately Wade Phillips has talked to his dad, Bum Phillips, the great Bum Phillips, a longtime NFL coach. And I think they were getting on the team bus when he was given that heads up. So right away, Bruce's antenna's up, like, I might take the fall for this one. Yeah. So the next day he talks to the owner, and they're like, and Bruce had been in Buffalo for
Ralph Wilson?
Yeah, it might have been Ralph. I think it was Ralph at the time. Ralph was still alive. Yeah. And they said, absolutely not, you're fine. Then he's fired.
They told him he was fine, and then they fired him?
Well, and he was the problem. Yeah. The owner didn't know. The owner knew Bruce, right? Mm-hmm. And that happens sometimes, especially in situations like that, where the ownership group is involved, but not on that level. And you got a coaching staff, and you got to find somebody to blame.
You have to.
You just
someone's head has to fall.
No one's coming out unscathed on this.
Totally.
And Wade Phillips is a good man. He is a good man. He's a good father. He's a good husband. But he did not have it in him to confront people, any of them.
No, yeah, I got that from him.
It just wasn't in his DNA. So he would do it very passively aggressively, which happens more in pro sports than people think. There's a lot more commonality between the office world and pro sports than you would think. You think, totally. It's all about confrontation and blah, blah. No, it's not. It's done passive aggressively. Sometimes it's just done with a pink slip, and here you go, and they won't do it. And that's what happened to Bruce. And and unfortunately, I was always very mad at Wade because of my friendship with Bruce. Yeah. And then Bruce, before he died, because remember he had brain cancer.
I thought it was colon cancer.
Colon cancer,
yes.
Sorry, it was colon cancer.
Yes.
Near the end of his life, he was still coaching for the Panthers.
Yes.
And he went up to Wade and said, hey, look, I want this to be behind us. He's the one who initiated the conversation.
Good. That's the kind of guy.
He didn't need to.
That's the kind of guy Bruce is.
No, but that was the kind of guy Bruce is. But it just sort of shows light. It just sort of sheds light into how these things can really happen. That's a really famous play, and there's a lot of humanity behind it that no one ever sees.
My favorite Bruce DeHaven story, I'm going to say it very, 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 very quickly. Back in the Texas Stadium days, you would park your car, and then you could go down the tunnel.
That's right.
And then walk down the tunnel to the field.
That's
Nowadays, it's not. You can't do that. You have to have the right pass, whatever.
Yep.
In the AT&T Stadium. But so you would go down the tunnel, and then you could stand there and behind the end zone. And just kind of hang out, and this and that. And then I'm hanging out, and there's a nice amount of people there, There's always a lot of people down on the field and this and that. And they're playing the Seattle Seahawks. And Bruce had gone to Seattle.
That's right.
It
was after it was Mike Holmgren. He joined Mike Holmgren's staff after Bill Parcells retired.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So I'm standing there, and there's just tons of people. And I hear, Victor. And I turn around, and it's Coach DeHaven walking towards me on the field. I'm standing outside the end zone. I'm not like certain people that feel like they can just go onto the field and talk to me. I could if I wanted to, probably, because I have a pass, but I don't do it because, why would I do that? So anyway, I hear, Victor, and I turn around and say, hey, it's Coach. So yeah, totally. So he walks towards me, and I walk toward him. We're standing in the end zone. And once again, Bruce DeHaven, what a great guy. So we're talking, and then I said, so, Coach, what do you think about today's game? And he says to me a line that I'll never forget. He said, nah, these guys don't have a chance. This is not a very good group. This is not a very good group at all. He told me that. Now, do you think I said that on the air?
No.
Obviously not. Obviously not.
Make for good radio.
Well, it would have if I wore other man's clothes, so to speak. But
wow.
But the fact is that he shared something with me as a friend, knowing
that you wouldn't use it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's just quality guy, Bruce DeHaven.
No, he was great. I didn't mean to go down this rabbit hole.
No, it's great.
That was good.
Hey, listen, I will talk about Bruce DeHaven every day because, such a sensational guy. Now, you've had other coaches that are really intense and, like Mike Zimmer, I got to know him a little bit.
Mike was an intense man.
Super intense guy.
Yep.
So you get to know them, but you keep your distance. You just know the one thing you don't want is all of a sudden someone turning around looking at you and says, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like, whoa, okay.
I've had that happen to me. I remember one time, I don't think this was back in about 2004 when Bill Parcells was the head coach, and you mentioned the Terrell Owens thing. So I was covering the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, and at the time, it had no structure to it. So media that covered it just stood in the halls waiting to bump into people.
Oh.
Like, you couldn't go in, obviously, to watch the Combine. It was a closed event at the time. So you would just wait to bump into players, agents, and coaches.
Really?
That was it, yes.
That's crazy.
Right, and there was a couple of them back then that existed like that. The Senior Bowl was like that. So you could get all this unfettered access where you could just talk to people like human beings. Not like you were interviewing everybody, but just talk to them.
Kind of like what happens at the owners' meetings where they're in the meeting room and then they come out and you're not allowed in there.
Yes. So the whole idea is that's where you really develop relationships, and you really develop relationships in the bar or restaurant afterwards, after hours.
For sure.
And you just sit there and talk. Yeah. Like I remember one time.
Like people.
Yes. I remember I was in California. We were in Oxnard, California, Ventura.
Yeah.
And I'm out there with Ed Werder, ESPN reporter.
Sure.
And Stephen Jones. And it's just the three of us talking football until 2 a.m.
Where were you?
Some bar in downtown Ventura.
Okay.
Just the three of us. And those things, that's what could happen then. It's harder to happen now. But I remember seeing, at the time, you mentioned Terrell Owens. Terrell was a free agent, and he was going to be, everybody didn't know what was going to happen to him, but we thought he's going to sign with the Cowboys. Jerry's going to sign this guy. So sure enough, who we see walking down the hall? Bill Parcells and his agent, Terrell's agent, Drew Rosenhaus. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh boy.
And I think I speak on behalf of a lot of people who covered the Cowboys then or covered Terrell Owens when he was in San Francisco or Philly. We hated doing it because every day was some new drama. Yeah. Whatever you think about the person, it was just always some noise. Yeah. And that's why Bill didn't like him. Well,
never said his name.
No, and he didn't. And he
used to call him the player.
Yeah, he did. So, anyways, I'm like, well, I got to see if I can get Drew Rosenhaus. Now, Drew doesn't know me, so he's got a cell phone. Now, his conversation with Bill has ended. This is later in the day, and I'm seeing Drew walk down the hall, and I'm kind of following him. And he had a flip phone.
Is he a tall guy?
No,
he's a short guy.
Because
you're like what, 6'1"?
I'm 6 feet.
So, yeah, okay.
So he's on the phone. He turns back and he looks at me and says, "I'm not talking to you."
Just like that.
Just like that.
Did he look at you in the eye when he said it?
Yeah, he was very dismayed. He's like, I don't know. Yeah, and I know what he's thinking. You're nobody. That's what he's thinking.
Jeez.
Oh, it's so degrading.
Totally.
I mean, I'll never forget it. Like, it was 20 years ago. But that's what normally happens in those situations. Like, I ain't talking to you. Like, wow, okay. And what you really want to say is, well, I won't say it. Yeah. There's kids here. Okay.
Bluey's here.
Bluey's here. We are in the Bull Moose Saloon here at the RoughRiders home stadium here in Frisco, Texas. The RoughRiders first pitch tonight, 7:05. Got a couple more things to talk about with my good friend, Mr. Victor Villalba.
There you go.
Wow, I can't believe I got it.
All right.
Producer, Miss Ashley Bullington.
Wow.
All right.
So sweet to me some days.
Some days?
I know, so sweet.
Some days.
I've been very nice to you.
You've been so nice to me.
Well, some days.
I love it.
Yes. It means I'm probably going to ask for something.
Yeah.
You guys are like confessing each other here.
No? She was my student.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
she was my
No,
student.
yeah, Ashley did tell me.
She was, yes.
What were you teaching?
What was the class?
Some random. It wasn't.
It was a sports broadcasting
It was a sports broadcasting class.
Was it North Texas?
No, TCU.
I'm sorry.
So
she sat in the front row.
Because you're supposed to sit in the front row.
So this is what I learned. This is what I learned about teachers. One, that's what I've told everybody. If you have any aspiration to teach, you should go do it. Just to know what it's like to sit on the other side of the desk.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And then you see yourself at some point in your life facing back at you. And then you see and then you hear all the lies that you used to tell to the teacher in order to get an A. Oh. So what I really figured out was if you sit in the front row, you were really serious about that class. If you sit in the middle, you're probably a pretty serious student.
If you sit in the back,
you're checked out.
What am I doing
You're like,
here?
why am I doing here? Game 2 of this is the Inle Angle, by the way, here on the Sunset Lounge.
And
all the shows.
Al máximo.
Al máximo.
We're crossing over. Al máximo con ustedes, con toda la energía que viene con cada programa en el Inle Angle con Mac Engel.
what he said.
Sorry, I just get into this thing.
Yeah, it's all right.
I love it.
This is Victor Univision's
No.
13th sexiest man in 2025.
Oh, okay. Univision. Okay.
Univision.
So this is like People Magazine in Espanol?
Yes, I gave Mike Reiner. Mike Reiner was 19th last year.
Oh.
You are, 13th or 14th
13th.
this year on Univision. Still behind. Who could you be behind?
Luis Fonsi.
Who's the soccer player from Portugal who's so good looking?
Oh, Ronaldinho. Ronaldo. Ronaldinho is the other one that played in Brazil.
He's decent looking, but Ronaldo's way.
Is next level. Have you ever seen the statue of Ronaldo?
It's terrible.
Oh my God!
It's like no, it's the same one who made Dwayne Wade's.
Oh, the Dwayne Wade one was
Dwayne
just as
Wade's
bad.
is like, what happened
Somebody got
here?
paid for
It's
that.
literally
God.
this, and Dwayne Wade oversaw it.
No.
Yes.
Dwayne Wade's. If you need to go see it. If you haven't seen it, Google it. Google search Dwayne Wade statue Miami Heat. It looks like Han Solo's carbon freezing from The Empire Strikes
That's what I read too.
It's
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of the NBA Finals, Game 2 is Sunday night. We are recording this here Saturday night. Game 2 is Sunday night. I ranted about this my latest episode, and that is about ratings.
Ratings. Small markets.
You're being kind.
Well, yeah.
This makes Green Bay look like, New York City. Oklahoma City versus my hometown of Indianapolis, Indiana.
Big
Game
basketball
1,
town.
huge basketball town.
Yeah, totally.
You've been to Cambridge, right?
Totally.
Okay, so Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The lowest rated NBA Finals game ever.
Wow. That's huge.
So my rant about this was I'm done. The ratings thing is an empty data point to me as it relates to the NBA, NFL, those things. I'm like,
Okay, well, you're saying it's irrelevant?
it doesn't matter. They make so much money. It's fine. Like, they don't want them. Obviously, you want good ratings. But I'm like, who cares? They're rolling in money. It doesn't matter.
That's amazing.
So for you, as someone who's been in broadcasting for 79 years.
79.
Yeah, well, I'm estimating.
Oh.
That was very
Call
high.
me Dorian Gray.
That's a good one. That's a good reference. Probably lost on the younger viewers.
Hey, I turned
under 60.
One time when my daughter was living in California, she was a missionary and she was doing mission work there, and I was in LA. And we went out, we drove around and everything. She was staying down in Newport Beach, so I rented a car. Anyway, but my point is about the book, Dorian Gray. We went to a bookstore because she's like into books and stuff like that. So I saw the portrait of Dorian Gray, and I said, "Sweetie, this is a really good book."
Yep.
And I bought it for her, obviously, and then she read it. She said, "Man, that book is really good." Anyway.
So there was a TV show called Warehouse 13. Did anybody watch it?
I don't know that one. Huh?
So it's
Is that like kind of Twilight Zone-ish where they had episodes?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what it would do is like it would find artifacts, and all the artifacts were connected to stories, and one was Dorian Gray. It was fantastic.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
It was really good.
Now, you know the
Warehouse
story of
13
Dorian
is
Gray,
my
right?
Absolutely,
favorite.
yes.
I'm sorry?
Warehouse 13 was one of my favorites. It's-
Warehouse 13?
Yeah, it's so random.
Where would I find
30
that?
minute.
They're an hour.
Oh, an hour.
Ooh,
Yeah.
an hour.
Okay.
Like, look
Wow.
at you flinched.
No,
Ooh,
but-
an hour.
Like,
No,
so
an
much
hour is
time.
Like
It's great.
43 minutes.
You're right. Okay.
Okay, but have you seen like Alfred Hitchcock Presents?
Oh, yeah.
Those are an
are
hour
good.
long.
Okay.
Oh, those are really
I
good.
haven't seen those.
Oh, that's old school.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about Alfred Hitchcock, not only his movies but his TV show, is the camera movements.
Yeah.
Oh.
When you observe the camera movements, you go, "Wow, that is pretty cool."
Look at this.
Yeah. Totally.
Mr. Hollywood. Do you care about ratings at all?
Ratings as far as
When you hear people in our job, sports media, because you hear it all the time. Oh, ratings this, ratings that. And I'm like, God, I am so done with ratings. It is a beating.
Well, I've been doing Spanish radio for the longest time, and ratings are kind of a extrapolation of what's happening, and like they say in the business, you don't sell the product, you sell the sizzle. You don't sell the sake, you sell the sizzle and all that good stuff. But the fact is that there is a moment when you realize, okay, I don't care about the ratings, but I know there's a ton of people listening. I know that. Like for a Cowboy game, I know there's a lot of people listening.
Oh.
I'm not talking about a number. I know there's people listening in Dallas. We have a network of affiliates, like 10 different markets.
Are you down in the valley?
we don't have anybody there. We're working on it because it's a very.
Right.
But see, radio has changed a lot. Because nowadays you tell I mean, I was on the phone with a radio guy in Waco, and I'm telling him, hey, you can use the logo, you can use the images, you can promote yourself. We can help you buy tickets and this and that. He said, if you don't give me tickets, I'm not interested. Wow.
So it's just a hustle?
Well, I mean, he wanted tickets. He expected tickets, and he was surprised that the Cowboys don't give tickets away to anybody.
No, they don't.
They don't.
Because they don't have to.
Not even to families.
No, they're charging them. That's one thing I learned when I covered the team.
Taxes. They got to pay the taxes on them.
All of it. Well, like the players.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I learned my lesson about this. There was one player. He's on the team now, and he signs up. He makes the team, and I'm walking into and I knew who this guy was. And he's walking. I'm walking into the game, and I see like 15 people wearing his jersey.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude. So I go up to him like a couple weeks later, and I said, hey, I saw a lot of friends of yours walking into the game. I said, did you get them tickets? He said, yeah, I hooked them up. And I said, did you buy them? He said, yeah, I had to buy them. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
that must have been a nice piece of change there.
Well, and they don't think about it. I'm like, sometimes I think they get 2 per. Is it 2? Does a
yes,
player get 2?
The players do get tickets. I don't know how many. It's maybe 1 or 2. I think so.
I think it's 2, but this guy he was spraying money at people so they could be in the stands, and I'm like, that's a lot of money, dude. Like, what do you? And so that now that I'm older, that's all the stuff that I worry about when I see these young guys getting all this money. I'm like, were you spending that on? I'm like, what are you doing? And you can't say. I mean, you can say stuff, but it's not going to stop them.
Right.
So but like, it's funny that guy's sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm not going to do this unless you give me 9 tickets.
Excuse me, no.
No, and no.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So anyway, the world. Excuse me. The world of radio has changed a lot. Because in TV, we have the preseason games, we have 4 1-hour specials and things like that. And I have because I manage it, I have 25 different markets.
25.
TV. And that's preseason games and 4 1-hour specials. But radio, it's like...
That's a different beast.
It's a total different
No, but I think I just get beaten down by it. And
the ratings.
The whole ratings argument. I'm like, and I heard the argument and the criticism of the Game 1 telecast by ESPN for the Pacers and Thunder. It's a great game.
Yeah.
It was a fan. I mean, if you could stay with it from beginning to end, it was a phenomenal game. And the ratings come out and they're bad. And I'm like, I don't think you can really do anything to get people who want to be interested in that game, who aren't big either fans of Oklahoma City, fans of the Indiana Pacers, or they just love basketball.
Yeah.
If that's it, because if not, then the ratings are going to be dictated on by where is the team located. New York City versus Lakers? What are you worried about?
Forget about it.
Yeah. So this is not something that I worry about, and it's something to me that has just beaten me down.
Yeah, but if you have Oklahoma City and Indiana in the final, okay, the people in New York, the people in LA, they're not going to care. I mean, by and
Probably
large.
not.
But also internationally, it goes down the drain because Indiana.
No way.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're talking about was it markets 27 or maybe that's Oklahoma City? I don't know. Ashley, you're probably.
Now, are you rooting for Rick Carlisle? Yes or no?
Well, I'm not. Well, it's funny that brought me up. This is something I talked about. Yes. But I mean, Victor, I was born in Ohio, but I was raised in Indiana, and one of the very first teams I can recall watching live were the Pacers.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, I want to see them win.
And they've always had the same stadium?
No, this is the second arena. This is the second arena that they won in downtown Indianapolis that they demolished and moved into another one, the one that you've gone to.
Yes.
But it's something that I've thought about a lot, and I want your opinion, which is, sports media has changed a lot. Can sports media be sports fans?
Sports media be sports fans.
It's kind of turning to that, though. Have y'all not noticed that?
That's
with,
why I talked about
it. The weird little companies that have the fans that go to games.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, but there's some other companies that they'll hire somebody to come that's like a real estate agent. And
educate me on that one. I'm not familiar with that.
So they'll have people in their company that are real estate agents and that kind of stuff. So you can go and market yourself to the athletes and you're doing work for them I found this out the other day, and I was like, that doesn't happen in Dallas. Like, what are you
I've never
talking
seen
about?
that. No. I've never
And
seen
they're
that.
like, well, it happens in New York. It happens here. It happens there. And I was
well,
like,
if it's happening there, it's coming here.
I was like, that's insane. I've never heard of that. I can't see like a John Blake or a Joe Trahan or somebody like that allowing that.
Okay, but you.
Or like a Gina.
Basically, you're saying it's sketchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I think to me, I think the part that's unfair forever is that you had people who got into this business. You did, I did, because we were sports fans.
Yep.
Like you were a player. You were pretty
Yeah.
good, so you made it to college as a
thanks.
player. If you made it to college as a player, you were pretty good. I'm sorry that you were.
I played soccer for Tech, so.
Okay, there you go. You were pretty good. I did
Gotcha.
not.
Hey, yesterday, 5 runs in the first inning. Uh-oh.
Ooh. So she's got $1 million. So
Softball team?
Second
Softball.
$1 million.
and then she's got to get it all before June 27th.
That's crazy.
Isn't that awesome? Well, good for her.
Those booster programs are so.
Oh, isn't that insane?
We can do a whole nother episode.
we
on
could
that
do it.
sometime.
Doesn't it
on
show
that.
you how much money they're making?
The NIL just makes me angry.
Why? Because you didn't get it?
No, because you're getting $300,000 worth of education.
Okay, then we're going to talk about this subject. We're going to wrap this up,
yeah,
but we're going to bring this up because I've had this debate with multiple people in the last 4 or 5 days. Have you talked at all about Texas Tech softball at all before 5 days ago?
I haven't really talked about Texas Tech softball or softball ever.
Have
so
No.
Okay.
No.
So this week, I'm hoping I'm not going to screw up her name. Najee Kennedy,
Yes.
yes.
the pitcher from Stanford. She had played at Stanford University for 2 seasons, puts her name in the transfer portal.
Yep.
Shocked everybody in that sport. Niche sport stuns everybody. Like, oh my God, she's going to be available? Tennessee comes after, everybody big comes after her. Texas Tech has 2 alums, one of whom played there as a softball
His
player.
wife.
Yep, the spouse, and says, we got to get her. She's Bo Jackson.
Dang.
They give her $1 million.
$1 million.
A little bit more. So I did the whole logic on this.
I don't believe in the transfer portal either, though. So that's me.
Oh, there's logic. Okay, good.
No, there is. So
Someone's got
this
it.
is going to take some. Just give me a minute on this one. as
Oh,
I
you
set
got all
this
the
up.
time you
Okay,
need.
yeah, right. So
For a
she decides.
podcast.
So now she's contemplating. Okay, I can stay here at Stanford. They're going to bump up my pay. It's not going to be $1 million, but they're going to bump it up, and I'm going to be the highest paid softball player, maybe the highest paid
Female
athlete in college sports.
Really?
Okay?
Soccer has a couple that are up there, but I think she's the highest paid female athlete, period.
That's more than women's basketball.
Yeah.
So really, and Texas.
So wait, time out. Clayton Clark didn't reach those numbers
No,
when she was at Iowa?
The NIL wasn't as big as
I don't
it is
think
now.
it may
Okay.
not have. Yeah. So anyway, it wasn't
In
really-
women's basketball,
No, no.
soccer is like soccer right this second for women is the highest women's grossing sport in
NCAA.
the NCAA.
Wow.
Ooh, I might be able to challenge you on that one. So she sits
gonna
there and
try.
debates. No, because I've seen different numbers on it.
Okay.
That's all. So she's sitting there debating, do I want to stay at Stanford University? I'm an academic All-American.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to the College World Series. I'm the best pitcher in the sport. I'm probably going to go to the Olympic team because the Olympics are going to bring softball
And the
back.
new
for
softball team.
Yep.
There's a softball.
There's a
pro softball
professional,
league.
yeah. And so
Oh,
all
yeah, that's
these
right.
are
10 teams.
positive things. But she's at Stanford. Stanford is the West Coast Ivy League, right?
It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. So she's sitting there looking at that and living in Palo Alto. She grew up in Topeka, Kansas. So she's living in Palo Alto. So she can stay there and do all that while earning her degree and getting paid. So the degree is free, and she's going to get paid to stay at Stanford. Or she can go to Texas Tech, pitch for a season at $1 million after taxes. I did the numbers. It's probably about $675-ish. She can stay.
Unless you got a good CPA.
Right, which she probably does.
I got
So-
a good one.
Okay,
I need his number.
you're right.
Okay.
So now she would go to Texas Tech, where she's probably going to stay for 2 seasons and become an alum of Texas Tech University.
Correct.
From Texas Tech standpoint, you're only going to get the return on your investment if you make it to Oklahoma City on the College World Series, Women's College World Series, where you get the exposure on ESPN. If you don't make it there, you don't get the return. If you make it there, it's plus all the way. That's how that works.
Yeah.
But if you're the player, if you're her dad, if you're her mother, and you sit there and you're pro-conning all this out, is this power of the Stanford degree worth the difference in the money that she might have given up?
No.
You don't think it's worth it?
No.
Do you think it's worth it?
Not to her. And,
No.
no, hold on.
As a parent.
Okay. To me, I went to Tech, so it's a good school.
Right.
I was very happy there. I was there for 4 years. I got the hell out of Lubbock. No offense, but I've been back to Lubbock. I like it.
And you left.
Yes.
No offense.
But yeah, no offense. But the thing is that Palo Alto is a really Tony area.
Huh.
I mean, it's kind of like, whoa, you're doing this, everyone.
Mark Zuckerberg lives in Palo Alto.
Everyone moves in slow motion, man.
That's
It's
true. That's
hey,
right.
How you doing?
Yeah.
That type of thing. So, I mean, the lifestyle, obviously, she opted for the money, which is go to Lubbock, go to Texas Tech, go to school there, and pitch. Now, I will say this about what you just said of them needing to make it to the College World Series and needing to make it to the final. I mean, Texas Tech put her on the line by starting her 3 days in a row. No, okay, not even like
That's the sport.
No, por eso. But what I'm trying to say is, okay, you play the first game, you lose. You play the second game, you win. But you put her out there the third. I mean, the girls from UT, they're athletes, and they're going to face her for the third time.
It's a lot to ask.
And I'll also say this though: the motion that women's softball players have to use for pitching is a lot different than
Totally.
the motion
It's why
for
they
men.
can do it.
Totally.
And that's why they can do it.
Yes.
So I understand.
Yes.
But
Like
I
she
mean,
pitched in.
that was like Matt Perk type.
Wow.
Remember? Yeah.
Oh, look
like
at you going,
Schloss used to throw him out
You have
there.
to.
Matt Perk.
He was a pitcher. He was a first-round draft pick of the Texas Rangers. He was a
He
left-handed
turned
pitcher.
out $8 million to go to TCU.
He goes to TCU, and he was a very talented freshman, and he pitched them past Texas into the College World Series in Omaha.
Good for him.
Damn right.
Yes.
And he never really made it as a pro. He had some injuries.
The highest paid player to never make it to the big leagues.
Is that right?
He made $25 million out of college.
It's a good job. It's a good job.
25.
And do we have a
mil.
feeling that he saved
Yeah, but what
some
about
of
the
it?
tag? No, yes,
No.
he
So
did.
they're doing really well.
Yes.
He is a assistant coach at TCU now.
Oh, good.
And they live out in Alito, all that kind of stuff.
They're fine.
He played in Sugarland with one of my really
I
good
had seen him when he
friends.
was with the White Sox. I had talked to him when he was with the White Sox.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point, which is, and when it comes to that, you can get away with 3 in 3 days. They should have won the first game.
They should have.
Yeah, if she knew how to intentionally walk somebody.
What was that all
she made
about?
a
Explain that to me.
mistake. They were in a tight situation. It was a 3-0 count, and they made the decision, we're going to intentionally walk
The
this Texas
catcher's
guy.
going like this. What does
Yeah.
this mean?
And
What
she
does this mean?
She doesn't know.
She doesn't
She
know.
had never done it before.
Who said that after the game that she didn't know? Did she say that?
I don't know. That's a good point. I think it was one of the announcers that brought it up. But clearly, there
Is
was
that something that's not normal in softball?
intentional walks.
Yeah.
You don't see it very much. I mean, and it is throwing an intentional walk pitch overhand is easy. Doing it in softball, it actually is a little weird because you don't do it.
Yeah.
And so they didn't. She totally grooves one. Girl crushes it, and they lose the game they should have won. Come back the next night, that should have been the ender. But now they have no choice. The coach has no choice. Like, she's that much better than everybody else. And the challenge isn't whether or not she's still good. It's the fact those hitters have seen her now three straight
times. This is the
days.
third time. It was
That's
crazy.
too much
I couldn't
to ask.
understand that. I would have said, okay, Miss Kennedy, sit down on the bench. We're going to start another girl. We'll see how things go. But be ready, because we're going to go to you at any moment. Don't start her.
Started her, and she had
5
suffered a
runs.
pull. And she gave up.
Didn't she pitch all 3 games, like complete games?
No,
too?
no. Well, this
Oh.
last one she was owned in for 1 inning.
Yeah, she got
Okay.
roughed up. She was knocked out in the first inning. She gave up 5
5
runs.
runs.
And the game was over.
Yeah.
But I think she had hurt her hamstring. But no, Ashley, she pitched every inning of every NCAA tournament
Yes.
game they were in but one.
Yes.
And the first one was when they played Brown. But Mike, I kept coming back to this thing as a parent and as I evaluated college education is the degree from Stanford.
Yes.
Because it's not about education anymore. It's
No.
not about the library. It's not about the business school. It's about the community that you join when you become an alum
That's
of
very
Texas
true.
Tech.
Very true.
That community, that alumni support group and all that stuff and all this is the difference that she was going to get between going to Tech and Stanford would it be made up for in the long run by being a part of the Stanford community? And what you're saying is that no, it's not.
No, I think the Tech alum are great.
Oh, they've
but I
done
think
very
the
well.
Stanford alum are another tier and another
Well, if you talk
level.
about movers and shakers in our society,
Stanford.
I would say that there's probably more movers and shakers if we define it in a way, a little just whatever. Movers and shakers, more movers and shakers in levels of corporate world and of whatever than Texas Tech. And no offense, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are Texas Tech alums and postgraduates and they're doing things, but Stanford carries a weight where you can talk to an alum and they can talk to other people about you
Yes.
at a very, very leveraged way.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
And that was the part that I looked at. I'm like, you're playing an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
And we all know money goes quick.
Yeah.
Especially only $1 million. It takes the average family almost $1 million to live a year right now.
What? Where did you
It
read
was like
that?
it was crazy.
That is not true. This is
Not
BS.
$1 million.
It's not $1 million.
Okay, but
I want to see that.
We're gonna have a discussion about this later.
Yeah, $1 million.
Don't quote me.
I will say, it sure as hell feels like it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm not saying, I don't know if it's true or not, but it sure as hell feels
When
like
I did my taxes, I was like, well, that's how much I spent? Seriously?
Yeah.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that just sent the show directly in the bottom of the Trinity. I just did my taxes. Like my CPA call. He's like, Mac, you need to call me. I'm like,
Oh no.
I know.
Oh no.
I'm like, that's not good. Like, you ever get, anytime anybody says, hey, we need to talk, is it ever good?
No, never.
No, never.
Ever?
Never.
Victor, we need to talk.
No, I think it would be
Close
more
the
like
door? You close the door?
yeah,
That's it.
close the door. You sit down.
Sit down.
Yeah. No, it's much better when they say, "Hey, listen.
Hey,
we
listen."
need to talk."
Or the other one that I've noticed that's really, really bad is, man, I love Ashley. She's great.
Oh,
It's never.
there's always a but.
But's bad. Anytime somebody says, you know Victor? Oh, I love Victor. Victor's awesome. But
Yeah.
there's always, anytime somebody says, I love him.
Yeah.
I love him to death.
yeah.
Love Mike Reiner. Love Mike Reiner. But he's insane. He's crazy. You know what I mean?
We're gonna clip that.
All right, I've kept you out here way too long. I've kept you out here way too
Oh
long.
no, this is a pleasure.
This has been a lot of
This
fun.
is fun.
This is
you
totally
sound
fun.
surprised.
Conversation.
You sound surprised.
I'm not surprised at all.
Hey, all I want to
appreciate
say
it.
is I am looking forward to another invitation down the road. I would love to do it.
You better.
I want to be on Al Maximo.
Oh, well, why not? Let's
I
do
do,
that.
but I can't speak Spanish.
No, por eso, pero te vamos a ayudar, vamos a hablarte en español y vamos a traducir y te vamos a ayudar para que tú entiendas todo lo que se está diciendo sin que digas, what did he say?
So I was telling Victor and Carlos I got these translation earphones.
Oh, those are
Oh,
cool.
like
Use
the
those
UN
on
building.
you,
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
then
you
I
need
want
some of
that.
those.
I do need some
Come
of
to
those.
the show.
I need those for life.
Yeah, well.
You know, just walking around and hear
Especially
what people
walking
say.
around.
They need them for men and women. So
Totally.
Like,
Oh, no.
Well, you
your
really
wife's
don't for men.
Your wife's talking to you and she's being cryptic, and now it's like it actually like speaks it for you. It's so funny.
I don't think you really need it. You probably have a pretty good idea what men are thinking, right? Without a translator
I don't
or any
know.
kind of a mind reader. No,
I'm
you
not going to
don't.
repeat it. On
Okay,
your show
that's
right now,
fine.
But
Thank you
yes,
very much.
I probably could.
All of the shows on the Sunset Lounge are free. That includes Al Maximo.
I like the way you
Where's
say
Carlos?
that. Carlos is traveling. I think he's on vacation.
That's the hardest working man in the world.
Oh, he does.
He works 375 days a year.
Let me tell you something. There is nothing you can throw at him that he's not going to come back with something.
I marvel at his work ethic.
You know, I've been
I
working.
don't say that sarcastically at all. I'm like, how do you do this? How are you not dead?
Or crazy.
Or crazy. And I'm like, how is he? He's like at boxing, and soccer, and kickball, and there's some, you know, I mean, he's like chess match in Honduras. I'm like, how are you everywhere? He is. I say that sarcastically. I'm like, hey, every time I see him someplace, I'm like, where were you? I was like, I was in F1 race. I was here.
That's right.
No, he is. He's everywhere.
He's been to Japan or something for a boxing match.
Did he go to Japan for a boxing match?
Yeah.
I want to
told
go to
him-
Japan for a boxing.
You
match.
should. I
Would
will.
you-
I
could
want
you
to go.
Okay.
I want
excuse me.
ESPN
Could
to
you
pick
stand 14 hours on a plane?
Stand.
Stand. No, stand.
Oh my gosh.
Support it. Like.
Yes, I could
Get
stand. But
through it. Get through it.
Real quick, have y'all seen that they're trying
Yes.
to pass standing seats
Yes.
in planes?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Like on the bus where you're standing.
It's like its own like
It's
there's,
awful. There's
there-
no way.
There's no bottom part, but there's
It's
a little
not.
bit of support. But it's like a.
It's
I don't even know how
awful.
you can call it a seat.
It's not. You got to go online and see it because they're
I will.
testing them in Europe right now. And I'm like, please, God. Because one thing that could have been passed, it's one of the only good things our government's ever done. There was a bill years ago where they were going to allow cell phones to be used during flights. Like you could make phone calls.
Yeah.
And whomever decided, no, we don't want any part of that. Like, and I don't know about you, I don't want to hear somebody else's phone call.
Heck no.
I don't want to. I rant about. I turn off your FaceTime in public. Turn off the speakerphone in public. I don't want to hear it.
To those idiots out there walking down through the airport, talking on their speakerphone, talking very loud, and you can hear the other person, you're an idiot.
Preach,
Period.
brother Victor. The only time it's
it bothers me so much.
permissible is if you are talking to a child, like a toddler or a young person.
Oh, yeah.
Like Grandma, that's cute and adorable. I'll give you that.
But you know what? You can find a corner in the airport where you're not bothering
Thank
anybody.
you. I was at a movie a few months ago.
Oh, no.
In the movie, well, hang on. It hadn't started yet, so you get the commercials and stuff. And there's
What
a
movie
woman.
was it?
This was whenever Oppenheimer came out.
Oh, you
Last
saw
year.
Oppenheimer?
I loved it. Oh, yeah.
In the
theater.
big screen.
Yeah, I want to see the bomb.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And so there's a woman sitting 2 seats down from me before the movie starts, and she's just watching videos on her phone at full volume. And I'm like, well, that
Lady.
sucks.
Oh,
No.
yeah,
I'm like,
no.
how? I'm like, what can I do? So I turn on the worst music I can find on my phone.
That sounds
and
like a
just
Mac
listen-
Engelism.
It really did. And so I'd done that one, and the other one was I was at a Panera Bread one morning, and I'm trying to get work done, and there's a guy just around kind of where Ashley's sitting, and he's trying to make phone calls to car dealers to buy a car. And he's doing it on a speakerphone.
Stupid.
And I'm like,
Dude.
have some, and I understand, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if that person was sitting there having that conversation with another human being across from them, would I be irritated? No, as long as the volume's, room appropriate.
Or one of them is not little blah, 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 and starts
Yes.
yelling. And
But this guy's he's making fun. He's like, hey, are you there? I'm looking for a blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Now, let me ask you a question. What flavor is this guy?
Oh, he's whitey.
White guy.
Whitey. Older than me.
No.
And so now I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So I turn on YouTube and I just start watching. I don't even know what I'm watching, but it's loud. And he starts shooting me looks. And I just looked at him. And
I
then,
want to party with this guy.
well, I didn't say
Are you
anything.
serious?
So we never got into it. It was never uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a way, passively, and kind of a dickhead way, if I can use Spanish.
Yes.
And if I can say that and say this, if you're going to do this,
I'm coming
and
back
I'm
at
going
you.
to do it, and this is what it's like, because I can't stand the public speaker.
Now, let me ask you this, because if I'm on a plane, you see these videos of people on planes, and you go like, golly, I mean, this must be have been happening since the nascent nature of air travel.
Like the Wright brothers
Yeah,
were
like
like-
somebody was freaking out, but there were no cameras back then. No one knew. But now it's like, and it's just like, it's insane. It's just ridiculous. But if I was confronted with a situation with somebody that was doing something like putting their foot here or doing something that, hey, listen, I'm in my space, you're annoying me. Bing!
Do you do that?
I haven't yet, but I would.
Have you been?
No.
In that? Have you ever been on one of those, like the uncomfortable flight that goes viral?
No, I have not. I have not. Not once.
Have you?
No.
Yeah.
I take that back.
Uh-oh.
So before I got on the flight, I was really uncomfortable with this person. They sedated her butt before she.
Wow.
The what now? What
They
was
sedated her.
They sedated her. So a friend and I, for my 30th birthday, were going to Vegas. Okay. There was a wedding that he was going to, and he invited me.
Vegas, baby?
So
we're talking 20 years ago.
20 years ago. 2 years ago, Mac. That would make you really old.
I'm hanging
You just
on.
dated
It
yourself.
doesn't make me. I am.
Okay, so we're going to Vegas, and there is this woman who gets out of the bathroom, and I am not one to typically try to judge somebody, but as soon as this woman walked out of the bathroom, I mean, she's got face tattoos all over herself. All this is
How do you
tattooed.
not judge that, Ashley?
You try not to.
Okay.
You try not to. It doesn't mean that you don't, but you try really
Well,
hard.
like my mother said, don't stare.
Well, so I looked at her real quick, and then I looked at my friend, and the lady starts chewing me out.
What?
And I'm just like, I had like smiled at her. Like, you know, when you see somebody and you accidentally make eye contact, you just smile to be nice.
Sure.
So I'd smile and she's like, what are you looking at? And like starts going off. And I was like,
wow.
Okay. So she had done that to multiple people. I saw her get handed pills and she was put in the back of the plane and homegirl was catatonic the rest of the time.
Wow.
She was scary.
That is scary.
I have not been. I was on a plane one time where there was a fire in the cockpit.
What?
That's scary.
This is a flight from Dallas to somewhere?
No, I was flying back from Indianapolis, Indiana to Dallas, and I got on an earlier flight because I could make it. This is back when you could fly standby easy.
Yeah.
And we're someplace south of St. Louis, and I could smell. I'm sitting about halfway back, and I'm like, I could smell something. I'm like, what is that?
Was it acrid or?
No, it smelled like smoke.
Just smoke.
And you don't expect smoke, like something burning on a plane. And then you could see it starting to sort of matriculate its way back towards the back of the cabin.
Was Hank Stram there?
No, thank you very much, though. He's trying to matriculate that ball down the field, boys.
That's right.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and it doesn't dawn on me the severity of this moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is, and then the pilot comes on. Ladies and gentlemen.
Your attention, please.
Yeah, we are going to be making an emergency landing in Little Rock. We have detected there is a fire below the cockpit, and we're going to land in 30 minutes.
I bet you regret taking that standby plane.
You're damn right I did. So immediately, I don't have enough time to process what this means because things are happening. Like, he says it, and then the flight attendant, I'm sitting on the aisle, the flight attendant walks by me, and Victor, if you had seen the look on that woman's face, you're like, oh, this is not good.
Panic.
Yes.
Wow.
Like, she understood the gravity and the severity of what was going on, that you have a fire in a cockpit, that's not good. So we have 30 minutes to land. That was the most white-knuckled 30 minutes I have ever spent in any form of transportation because I thought we might die. Really. I mean, so then we land. They rescue fire crews meet us on the tarmac.
Yeah, you get, and there's all these trucks.
All these trucks. You're like, holy cow, this looks like, what is this? And then we have to deboard through the ladder, right?
Oh.
On the tarmac.
Okay, yeah.
It's in Little Rock. They put us on a bus, take us to the terminal, and then they say, we will take care of your travel to Dallas from here. Got it. Okay, now storms are coming through.
Oh, no.
So then they say, okay, we're going to fly you to Shreveport. You're going to get on another plane, then fly from Shreveport to DFW, which is what, like an 8-minute flight?
That's very short.
So, I finally get on the plane from Little Rock to Shreveport. That's a nothing flight. Get on a plane from Shreveport to DFW. We get
I hope they reimbursed your flight, too.
That's a good question. Maybe an extra bag of peanuts. So now we're 10 minutes outside of landing. And they say, there are storms in the area. We're going to have to fly back to Shreveport and land.
What?
Oh, my goodness.
I got home at 2 in the morning.
They would be writing me a check.
Well, act of God, I think I did get something. But in terms of flying, that's my worst experience.
All right. I can't say I've ever had
even
anything
Ashley is giving the wrap it up. She has a life
We're
sign.
an hour and 23
That's
minutes.
Oh, wow.
a long time.
Man.
All of the content, all of this content here on the Inle Angle, the Clubhouse with Rob, Alex, and Don, Sunset Lounge, El Maximo. Who else am I missing?
Beer
Shippy and Grooves. Beer 30 Sports O'Clock, our favorite resident alcoholic, Ziggy. That's funny. We are at the Frisco RoughRiders game tonight. It's Bluey Night. First pitch is 7:05. It looks like it's going to be a great crowd.
Oh,
actually.
yeah. It's
a really nice night.
It's really feeling good.
Victor, thank you so much for coming out.
Absolutely. And don't forget House of Healing, cbddallas.com. cbddallas.com. Check it out. Go over there. Don't go there with any preconceived ideas. Just go in there and say hello and let them chat you up. That's what they're there for.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. But we were going to do the right send-off. Give us the right send-off en español, por favor.
Bueno, amigos, y llegamos al final de otra vez Engel's Angle, claro, con el gran Mac Engel. Yo tuve la oportunidad de ser invitado el día de hoy. Estamos acá en un día hermoso para el béisbol, donde los Riders juegan contra los Cardenales. Fíjese nada más, aquí mismo en Frisco. Así que dese la vuelta, aquí lo esperamos. A nombre de Mac Engel, Victor Villalba y la bella Ashley Bullington, esto fue Inle Angle.